And welcome to the Technology Geek podcast. I am your host, Brandon Lapani, the Technology Geek. And we are here as we are every week to talk computers, the internet, tech, ham, radio, and pretty much anything that comes to my mind that I feel like talking about on this show, which is why it's the Technology Geek. It's my show. So this is our 48th podcast. As always, you can find all of our old episodes on our website, thetechnologygeek.org. And as always, you can follow me on my Twitter and Facebook, YouTube. All that stuff is up on our site, thetechnologygeek.org. So here we are I am in the mountains of Pennsylvania, as you guys know, and we are experiencing the Arctic vortex, polar winds, whatever they feel like calling it on the news today. We have had I've seen the temperature as low as negative 12, negative 15, negative 2 this morning. It's about 1 degree outside right now. So we are going ahead and sitting here, and it's snowing now too, by the way. So we are here right now enjoying the nice, cold, brisk Arctic air right now. So not a lot of going outside going on right now. It's kind of keep the heat on, keep indoors, and enjoy. But that has been very good because I have had a little bit of free time to do some other things. Right now, I am actually very much digging the Amazon Prime Bosch series. I'm actually on episode number 4 right now. And by the way, folks, just so you guys know, too, those of you, by the way, before I get too deep into the show, just so you guys know, I do tweet we do live audio stream along with this, folks. You can get we stream the audio live on our YouTube channel. So those guys that do want to listen live, it is available for you over there on our YouTube channel. And as well, what's really neat about it is not only do you get the live audio feed, but you also, as well, will get the live chat room that you can chat in as well. And by the way, folks, like I said, I tweet that link out every week before the show starts. You can follow me on my Twitter at KB3YUA. But so those of you guys that want to listen live, if not, the show is always available on our in podcast format on our website, as well as you can afterwards. And also, too, it's available on the YouTube channel as well in audio format. So, like I said, I've been really digging the Bosch show, and it really is cool. I'm on episode 4 right now. I don't want to give any spoilers, or I don't even talk about it until I'm all done with the series yet, but it actually is a really good show. I actually really, really enjoy it. It's pretty cool, and I like it. Those of you that have not seen Bosch, it actually is a great show, and it definitely is worth watching. Right now, I'm actually working on the very, very first Bosch book, which actually came out I believe in 1992. It's the Black Echo. It actually is really, really neat. I actually really enjoy it. I'm not very far into it. I'm about 50 pages into it, but it actually is really, really good. And that's the very first Bosch book. I'm actually working on that right now. They do actually make mention to it. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but they actually do make mention of it in the series, in I believe the second episode or the third episode, I don't remember, but second or third episode, they actually do make mention to it. But it actually is it actually is a phenomenal book. And if you have not actually taken the time to read any of the Bosch novels, really, you've missed out in life. And even if you watch the series, I'm only 4 episodes into the series, and I really am digging this whole Bosch series. So catch up on it if you have Amazon Prime. If you don't, it's worth getting Amazon Prime. They're not a sponsor or anything like that, but they definitely are worth getting for $75, $100, $100 whatever is a year. My wife has it. It's worth it just for the 2-day shipping. But a lot of stuff going on. A couple key things I do want to talk about before we get into any type of news or questions or anything. There's always a lot of tech news, but I want to talk about a couple things. First of all, one of the things that was funny. My daughter's been home sick the last couple of days, so I've been home with her as well, kind of working from home, running my business here. And what's kind of neat is I had a little free time with her the other day, and we're going through Netflix, and I know a lot of kids watch lots of Disney shows and stuff like that, but one of the things I've gotten my daughter to watch over the last couple months is a lot of anime. She's been watching Yu-Gi-Oh! We've been binge watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Which is really easy. It's only like 20 minutes, but Yu-Gi-Oh! We've been watching Pokemon together, Dragon Ball. She really likes Dragon Ball. We've been going through all different. Trigun is on there, Black Butler. I've been exposing her to a lot of quality cartoons. I find that I understand a lot of kids watch SpongeBob and stuff like that, but I'd rather her watch Ghostbusters or Ninja Turtles, something like that. Something with a little more substance than SpongeBob. But yeah, we've been binge watching anime. We also too fired up the WWE Network, because I do have the WWE Network as well. And we've actually been watching Scooby-Doo. There's actually a lot of Scooby-Doo episodes with wrestlers in them on WWE Network. Kind of neat. We've been watching those as well. So that's been just a ton of fun with that. And what's kind of neat too is one of the things that we've been doing. I've been able to get. Actually, you got a halfway decent internet connection. Here's one of the reasons why we're able to do live audio now. We did try live. I mean, somebody said, "Can you do live video?" Which I probably could too, but I've just been doing the audio because I just seem to like that a little better. It's no here nor there. It's just a personal preference. But one of the things that's kind of neat, I have a 60 meg connection now at home, and I've been able to watch almost everything in high def. I finally got myself a halfway decent internet connection now from our local cable company. Finally joined the rest of the world, and we have a 60 gig connection and like a 4 or 5 meg uplink. So, but the other thing too is they actually have 100 meg now. Now I don't know if I can justify buying a 100 meg connection for my home. I think it'd be really, really cool. But I don't know if I can actually justify a 100 meg connection right now in my house. But 60 megs isn't too bad. I think it's like $60 a month we're paying for 60 megs of internet, which actually is really good. I mean, so much stuff is online nowadays. You almost have to have a good internet connection. So, but so some other stuff I wanted to show. A couple things I do wanted to highlight. I've actually been, and I don't play a heck of a lot of video games, but one of the things I've been playing lately is H1Z1. It's actually a game. It's $19.99 to play. It's actually available actually on, by the way, you're listening to my dings in the background. That's actually my iPhone letting me know we have tons of people that are retweeting our live link. So if you guys don't want to get in on that, go ahead and grab that. Thanks to my buddies over at the Grolix podcast over there. They're taking the time to retweet my tweets so that we can get a lot of people in the live feed. So I want to thank those guys. If you guys have not listened to the Grolix podcast, you are missing out in life. They are a phenomenal comic book podcast. I was on the show a couple weeks ago. We actually have a link to it. They called it the Grolix Night podcast. We talked about Nightwing and all that. If you have not listened to their show on the EMC podcast network, you're missing out. Wonderful show, wonderful guys. Love those guys over there, Jesse and Randy. They've been phenomenal. The big hashtag Uncle Jesse. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's an inside joke. Go listen to the show. Grolix Nights is up on our website, technologygeek.org, and it really was a funny episode. Love hanging out with those guys. I would love to get on the show again sometime and shoot the breeze with those guys. They were great. But one of the things too, guys, I want to say, I don't play a lot of video games, but I've been playing a little bit of H1Z1. It's $19.99 to play. It's available on Steam. I like Steam. I actually play Counter-Strike once in a while. I don't play a lot of games, but I do play on Steam once in a while. Really cool game. Very apocalyptic stuff. You can play with a whole group of people. It's a lot of fun. The Anthony Cumia show they've got a whole group of guys up there that are all playing the game right now. It actually is pretty amazing game. The graphics are amazing. You do need a pretty high-end graphics card to play it. But a ton of those guys on the Anthony Cumia show are playing. There's a ton of people up there. It's very post-apocalyptic, very Walking Dead-ish. It's a really, really cool game. I kind of like it. And I don't really get too much into gaming. But, the boards are big. There's a lot of collaboration. Everybody's got a job to do, whether it's hunting, fishing, building. You can build bases. You can build cars. You can attack other people. Obviously, you can build bows, you can build knives. Really, a really cool game, and I really enjoyed it. And I think if anybody out there likes The Walking Dead or likes any video games that are post-apocalyptic, this is definitely the game for you. And that's H1Z1. They're a really cool game. Go ahead and check those guys out. Like I said, the Anthony Cumia show's been really behind it, and has really been talking about H1Z1. I've actually jumped on a few times with those guys. Really fun group of guys. We had a lot of fun. They play to the wee hours in the morning. I play as long as I can before I have to get up for work. But those guys are really cool over there. And take the time, check that game out over at H1Z1. The only problem I've heard of is since it's some of the part of the game is the game's still pretty much in development. They've had problems with hackers of it then on. They're not so much hacking your computer, but hacking the boards and the codes and that. But I think that's with any game you get, even when it's not in development, you always get sometimes people that want to cheat. They call them hackers on there, but they're actually pretty much they're coders and stuff like that, cheaters and stuff like that. But as with any game you have, even on a PlayStation or Nintendo, you had people that found the codes out and were able to jump through the game or give themselves invincibility. I think that's kind of fairly standard with any game nowadays, really. So it's kind of something that's kind of neat, folks. Talking about gaming and all that. I actually a friend of mine actually has an Android phone. And we started messing around with Google Cardboard the other day, and I know it's Google. I know like Samsung and Sony and a lot of those guys are coming out with stuff, but I was messing with Google Cardboard the other day, virtual reality, and I never really messed with virtual reality a whole heck of a lot. But I actually went ahead and was messing around with Google Cardboard the other day, and I gotta tell you, it actually is pretty darn neat. That actually what you do is you actually make this cardboard cutout. You can actually get the template right off Google's website, or you can order. They actually sell Google Cardboard template kits for like a couple of bucks. Comes with the cardboard and everything. But really, really neat stuff there with Google Cardboard. And what you can actually do with Google Cardboard is you can actually make. There's an app you put on. There's an app you put on your phone, and it actually goes ahead and you actually just get. It's like a little virtual reality world. There's not a lot of apps for it just yet, but there are a couple of good ones. And as you walk around, turn around the circle, the thing follows you. It's all really virtual reality based, and it actually is really darn neat. I loved it. And we were messing with this. You build this little box. It's a lot of fun. We actually made it we actually downloaded the template and made it out of an Eggo box, because you need pretty healthy cardboard. And you're walking around with that, and then there's a thing on the side. You hit down a little button, and it can actually go ahead and go back, go forward. And there's an app on your phone, and it's really cool 3D kind of stuff, virtual reality. It's really, really well done, and I really liked it. It's something kind of neat to play around with if you have an Android phone. It doesn't work for the iPhone yet, but it does work for the Android. But really neat Google Cardboard. My friend and I were messing around with it the other day. I was like, man, this is really, really cool. And there's not, Google Cardboard still has a long way to go yet before it competes with, the Connect or anything like that. But really, really cool how you can walk around with this thing and just like walk around like you're in a virtual reality circle. It actually is a lot of fun. They even have some things, architecture apps on there, and they have just some really neat apps. Check it out if you have an Android phone. It's Google Cardboard. You can Google it. I think it was google.com/cardboard or whatever. But it actually is something that's actually worth checking out. Something else that was in the news the other day. Now, I am not a Seinfeld fan. I understand how great the show was, and the show is definitely an iconic sitcom, but I am not, nor have I ever been a Seinfeld fan. Okay? But what I didn't find that was interesting is TBS has found a way to actually speed up the actual show without you actually knowing it. Now, this is what's really neat about it. I don't know, they're not giving a lot of information on how they do it, but somehow, some way, they have sped the show up. So even though they're talking at the same speed and nobody's moving faster, it actually, the show, they speed up each scene by like a millisecond or something like that. And they actually can get an extra 2 minutes of commercials in. Now, we've all seen how TBS does it. The ending credits, they pretty much fly through like that. You just have here, and they're playing the ending credits while the next show is already in. And obviously, a lot of shows, They cut the intro, the outro. They cut the the scene cuts of that to make that's standard with any replay of any sitcom. But they have actually figured out a way to actually speed the show up like a millisecond a frame. Not that you don't notice it, but enough that it speeds it up so they can get an extra 2 minutes of advertising, which to me is, that's awesome. You have to wonder who sat around and thought of that. But that was actually really, really cool, and I actually really like that idea. An extra 2 minutes doesn't sound like a lot, but commercials, that's a lot. So like I said, check that out. There's actually a couple comparisons up on YouTube that you can actually check out of how they're actually doing this. It actually is pretty neat, and I kind of like it. Take the time and just jump on YouTube, and there's a couple comparisons. And the thing is, like, it's not like what I noticed about it is at the beginning they're almost right. If you've watched the comparison, the originals versus the other ones, at the beginning it's fine. As you get further and further into the episode, there you'll see where the gain comes. It actually is kind of neat. Check it out. You'll see within maybe 10 minutes of watching it that the other show is ahead by even like a scene or two. So it actually is pretty darn cool. So some other things as well that I wanted to talk about before we go to the news and your questions that we always talk about. Is I want to go ahead and I want to talk about the Pal Talk Awards. I didn't know there was such a thing until the other day. There actually is something called the Pal Talk Awards. And what it actually is it's pretty much what you can do is you can actually go ahead and elect people who've ever had the funniest cams, who've got sleeping on cam, they've got all these different nominations you can actually do. And you go through and you actually nominate people for those certain categories, and you give their camera, their username, and what they do is actually view their camera, and you actually get to see who is actually, in the who's actually like they have. I know they have sleeping on camera, they have funniest cam, they have best cam, they have all them. But yeah, you can actually nominate your friends for the Pal Talk Awards. I had no idea there was such a thing, but apparently there is. So those of you that are interested, there is actually a Pal Talk Award. If any of your buddies are on Pal Talk, go ahead and elect them so that they can go ahead and win, a nomination or win an award. So something else too that was kind of neat. I found Pal Talk. I know is unanimous with Anthony Cumia show because he's one of the big time podcasts that use it. But one of the things that's kind of neat about the Anthony Cumia show. He's actually coming out with a whole, and I'm always plugging him because he's one of my favorite shows. I like his podcast. I listen to him all the time. And everybody out there has their favorite podcast, whether it's Corolla, Twit. I like Twit. I love Leo Laporte show. Whether it's Stone Cold Steve Austin show, no matter who it is, everybody's got their favorite podcast, and I seem to like his show the best. But he actually has like a network like Twit coming out called Live from the Compound, which is actually going to be a Live from the Compound network. They're actually working on it. He actually has an app coming out, and I think they're actually getting some studio space in New York. He just did a remote from Mohegan Sun, which was actually really, really big for him, and I thought that was kind of neat. But yeah, he's got a lot going on over there. But yeah, he's big with Pal Talk, and actually the Pal Talk Awards. I think a lot of his fans are trying to get his room elected for like Best Room of the Year or something like that. But so... I think one thing I did want to point out, guys, is as you guys see, I'm always writing book reviews. I do a lot of reading. I'm actually reading another Bosch, but I'm on a Bosch mode right now. Right after the Lincoln Lawyer came out, I was in a Lincoln Lawyer book mode. I read like all 4 books in like a month and a half. But one of the things about Bosch is I'm actually, like I said, my first time ever reading a Bosch book. I read the Reversal, which was like a Bosch / Mickey Holler book, but this is just the Bosch itself. But I read all the Mickey Holler books. But one of the things I do book reviews regularly, and I did a book review this week on iWoz, which is Steve Wozniak's book talking about his time with Apple and stuff like that. It's actually really all my book reviews are up on our website, technologygeek.org, but I actually talked about iWoz, some of that. Well, Slashdot actually asked me to write a piece on that. So I actually have a coming up. Probably this week it'll actually be posted up on Slashdot, so keep an eye out for it. I did a whole book review for iWaz, and I've always done book reviews on the site. Any of you guys that are interested in my book reviews, go to technologygeek.org. But I'm always doing book reviews, stuff like that. But Slashdot this time actually asked me to do one, so I did a book review for them. So that's going to be up there on Slashdot this week. So I just wanted to give myself a little plug. So a lot of tech news this week. There's always anytime you have. You always have tech news almost every week. But first of all, I want to say, folks, I appreciate you guys supporting the show and talking about book reviews. I review all these different books, and then I always put a link at the bottom for Amazon. If you go to if you click on that, it brings you to the Amazon link for the book. If you buy the book, we get some money for it, and it helps keep the site up, keeps it free. We also, too, folks, support the site by our member support program. The member support program is pretty much $10, and you're part of the Technology Geek Club. When you're part of the club, you get all different kinds of discounts I get from all different vendors. Something that we've been doing for a very long time to help support the show. We have all different vendors, from ProXPN to IT Pro TV. We've survival straps. We've got Mars Radio. Tons and tons of different sponsors for you guys. And what it does, like I said, it keeps the site up, it keeps it free, allows us to do a live stream. All the money we make always goes toward keeping the site up and keeping it running. I don't take a paycheck or anything like that. It's just for our designated server and our hosting. And it also keeps us going. Like I said, we've got tons of different sponsors on there. You can go on the site and click under podcast and hit members support. And underneath there, you will see the member support program. It actually is a wonderful program. We actually do work very hard to keep it up and keep it going. And like I say, it's a way of you guys supporting the site without giving it's a donation you guys give us, but this way you get something for your donation. There's so many different great sponsors we have. We have, I think, 15 or 20 of them now. We have a couple more coming on as well. So it's a way of you guys supporting the site and giving us a donation and getting something back for your money. I'm very proud of that. So we've got some other things going on. So I guess we'll get into the bulk of the news, which is a lot going on, as always, in tech news. But so I guess we'll talk about, first and foremost, obviously, we're talking about Homeland Security urges Lenovo customers to remove Superfish. So this came out, this has gotten a lot of media coverage over the last couple of days. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security advised Lenovo's customers to remove Superfish software from their computers. According to the alert related to National Cyber Awareness Security, the software makes use of vulnerable SSL spoofing and can allow remote attackers to read encrypted web browser traffic, the spoofed websites, and perform other attacks on Lenovo PCs with software installed. Lenovo initially said that it stopped shipping the software, but because of complaints about the features, not a security vulnerability, they continued to do so. So apparently, Homeland Security advised you to take that off. That was actually big news. There's been a lot of stories on it about Slashdot, and there's been a lot of other stories from CNET and some other ones. So an Australian ISP is introducing a 3-strike rule. Now, what this is, folks, is basically it tells you, hey, if you get caught 3 times with complaints from the government about piracy stuff, you will be stripped of your internet. If it gives you 3 notices in 12 months, you actually will go ahead and your website will be blocked. All your web information will be blocked. And as well as they're saying too now, pirate websites as well are going to be blocked as well. So if your site gets, not only if you were somebody who's downloading, but if you're a person that's hosting, if you get hit with more than 3 complaints, you're actually going to get blocked as well. So that was in the news, and that's Australia has really been cracking down a lot of that stuff there. So as we all know, we've all been talking about healthcare.gov now for many months. But about 800,000 taxpayers who enrolled in the insurance policies through healthcare.gov received errors in their tax information from the government. When urged on Friday to hold off on filing tax returns until the error was corrected, the Obama administration, under heavy pressure from congressional Democrats, also announced that it would give several million people more time to buy health insurance so they could comply with the federal law and tax penalties. So that was in the news as well. The incorrect insurance information is used in computing taxes. Customers can expect to receive correct data in the first week of March. So that was in the news as well. The healthcare.gov site just seems to be plagued with all these problems. Not exactly sure why, but apparently, they just can't seem to go ahead and get that right for some reason. So we were talking about Truecrypt. We talked about this a while ago, but apparently Truecrypt now, audit back on track after silence and uncertainty. According to this article from Slashdot, there was a lot of issues with Truecrypt, basically saying party prompted by leaks by Edward Snowden that suggests that the NSA has encouraged in efforts to undermine encryption. The report published in 2014 covered the first phase of the audit. Pretty much what they're saying, as in May 2014, the developers of Truecrypt, who had remained anonymous over the years for privacy reasons, abruptly announced that they were discontinuing the project and advised users to switch to alternatives. Now, almost a year later, the project is back on track, which I'm actually really happy about. I like Truecrypt. I really did. I really liked using it. When those reports came out, CryptoCat was the same one, that same thing that when all this came out with Snowden, that they stopped. I liked Truecrypt. I liked CryptoCat. I was really upset to see them go offline, but now apparently they are back. So like I said, just tons of articles. You guys are great, by the way, with sending me all the emails and stuff with news and information. A lot of times, a lot of these stories not only are from Slashdot, but a lot of them come from you guys, and as well as other sources. But tons of just articles on Slashdot about this whole thing with Superfish on Lenovo PCs. So something kind of neat. Apple's launching a repair program for the long-standing 2011 MacBook Pro GPU problem. Apple just announced that the MacBook Pro repair extension program for video issues to provide out-of-warranty repairs for MacBook Pros and Retina MacBook Pros sold between February 2011 and December of 2013. The symptoms of the problem, distorted or scrambled videos on computer screens, no video, problems with external displays. Some users have been complaining about 2011 MacBook Pro GPU issues since shortly after the system launched, and the complaints have actually been heard by Apple and brought to the attention of Apple executives by Apple Care, and has even caused a class action lawsuit. Now, apparently, Apple is going to go ahead and actually fix those issues. So something else that's kind of in the news as well. Apparently, DarkLeaks is an online black market for selling secrets. This was in the news this week. I found this on I think it was the Hacker Bolton, but there's on Slashdot and a lot of other ones. Whistleblowers, those individuals that are simply out to make a buck out on confidential and vulnerable information, can now offer it for sale on DarkLeaks. DarkLeaks, anonymous black market on the internet. The DarkLeaks project is built on top of Bitcoin blockchain and can be used by downloading the software program. The source code is open. So DarkLeaks is out there now. It's a new way to share secrets for you whistleblowers. And if I remember a couple weeks ago when I was actually doing the podcast, you guys remember that the other one there was another program as well that was out there that was on InfoWars that they were talking about as well. So a lot of these, ever since WikiLeaks thing, now a lot of these programs are coming out now that allowed you to, actually send out secrets without anybody knowing. So that's that was a lot of them now. There's not. It used to be just WikiLeaks. Now there's 3, 4, 5 of them coming out now. So there's a ton of them. But like I said, they all kind of almost do the same thing, but they're all a little different. But yeah, that's another one now that I'm sure will be under the watchful eye, as well as Tor on the other one. So Jamie Oliver's website was serving out malware. Now I don't really get too much into the Hollywood news, but this actually was kind of cool. While routinely checking the latest exploit websites, Malwarebytes came across a strange infection pattern that seemed to start of the official site of British chef Jamie Oliver. Now, contrary to most web-borne exploits as we see lately, this one was not the result of malicious advertising, but rather carefully placed malicious JavaScript injection in the site itself. This, in turn, has been used to serve visitors a delicious meal considering an exploit kit downloading a dark bot Trojan. Malwarebytes has contacted the administrators and immediately upon discovering of its infection. That was kind of neat. So apparently, don't go to that site. So, FreeBSD, this is a little bit older news actually, but apparently FreeBSD, the random number generator is broken. That's kind of neat. So FreeBSD random number generator has been discovered to be generating possibly predictable SSH keys and SSL certificates for the last month. That's huge, by the way. Time to regenerate your keys or search using FreeBSD current. The message from the FreeBSD current mailing list reads, if you're running kernel level R273872 or later, please update your kernel immediately and regenerate your keys. So if you're running, so check if those of you that are running BSD servers, BSD web servers, mail servers, any of that stuff, go ahead. And I would so strongly, while you're listening to the show, go and check your kernel number right now. So Sony is obviously releasing a competitor. This has been on. This is nothing new, but I think I'm bringing up. Sony is apparently releasing a competitor for Google Glass, as well as they're also releasing a competitor for Google Cardboard as well, which I talked about a little earlier in the first section of our program. But apparently now they're actually releasing a Google Glass competitor. While Google, retooling its Glass offering, Sony appears to be jumping into the breach to offer an Android-compatible wearable face computer, developer edition of Smart Eyeglass, which will be available in March for $840, which is like wow, with a commercial release in 2016. So the device must be manipulated with separate wire controller until the house of microphone, speakers, and NFC module. So Sony's apparently diving into the mix. So something that somebody sent me, kind of neat. Google releases a cloud-based web app vulnerability scanner. Now, obviously, there's tons of them. Nezus, there's tons and tons of these scanners out there. But this is actually a Google Developer Console. They actually released the scanner addresses two major web vulnerabilities, cross-scripting XSS and mixed content scripts. But this is a good vulnerability scanner. It's kind of neat, kind of cool. I'm glad, this is actually kind of cool that you can actually do this now via online. Like I said, there's tons of Nezus. There's tons of them out there, but this was actually kind of neat. So I figured I would go ahead and just bring that up. So any of you guys that are looking to do just a quick scan on your website, just grab it. It's up on Google Developer. Grab it, do a quick scan of your site, see if you can find anything that jumps out at you. Some other stuff as well in the hacker news. Obviously, TweetDeck teams allow multiple Twitter accounts without sharing a password. That was on the internet this week. They have TweetDeck actually does have different roles now. You have role of administrator, role of contributors. TweetDeck is really catching up as far as the whole. SharePoint as well as Google Sites have had administrator roles, contributor roles, approval roles. TweetDeck's kind of catching up with that now, but that was in the news as well. So Android malware can spy on you even if your mobile is off. That was in the news this week as well. Some neat info along with that. We've seen a lot of malware with the. We've seen a lot of We've always seen a lot of issues as far as Android and malware. That's nothing new. But now, this is a little bit bigger now because now they're actually tracking you when actually your machine is off. So that's that's pretty major news as far as I'm concerned anyway. So another piece of news somebody just sent me, by the way, a while back. Meganet now, the famous internet expert Kim.com now introduces legacy Mega Upload and Mega File sharing services in the world. Now starting his own internet called Meganet, which is a decentralized internet. It's similar to Kim. Obviously, Kim Schwartz launched a public beta of its end-to-end encryption video chat called Mega Chat, which is said to be giving protection with alternatives such as Skype and Google Hangouts. But yeah, apparently, so now we're doing Meganet, which is going to be kind of neat. So there's a lot of different things going on right now with Mega. And Mega Chat is actually kind of neat because, like I said, it's encrypted chat, which I know that seems, kind of different. But I mean, a lot of people saying, well, Skype and Google Hangouts are encrypted too. Yeah, but this is actually allowing the anonymity part, which is something that we haven't seen yet. So that's what Mega Chat is doing. So it's kind of neat. And I've messed with it a little bit, not extensively. I don't know anybody that's really on it to talk with. I've only looked it over a little bit, but this is the same thing as Tiny Chat and all those kind of stuff. Like I said, it's encrypted chat, so it's kind of neat. So moving on to your questions and my answers, as we do every week. If you ever have a question, like I say, go to our website, and feel free, guys, to go ahead and go to the website and just click on the Ask a Question button, and you can go ahead and either call the voicemail box or you can go ahead and email us your questions. But the first question I got today, which is kind of neat, somebody wants to know if it's possible to use a Chromecast with my phone's internet connection. If you have one of those, if you have an iPhone that has wireless, or if you have a wireless 3G or 4G, it would probably work for you, like a MiFi or anything like that. It probably would work for you. I mean, you could definitely do that. I don't see why it wouldn't work. But it's something to try. Like I said, if your phone, I mean, you couldn't use it with your phone's 3G or anything like that. But if you could turn your phone into a hotspot, or if you have a MiFi, it probably would work for you. That would probably work. Yeah, I think you could probably do it. So the next question somebody had is, what PC should I get for Minecraft? Well, Minecraft isn't, I mean, first of all, you can get Pocket Craft which is the same thing as Minecraft for your phone or tablet. Minecraft isn't very resource intensive. So, I mean, you could get, just a standard PC would work. I mean, it's all Java based, so there's not a whole heck of a lot of, resources that go into it. It's a really cool game and stuff like that. And like I said, now, if you're going to be running a Minecraft server and you're going to have a lot of people on it, then maybe you might want to get something a little beefier. But Minecraft doesn't take a whole heck of a lot of resources. So, I think a regular PC would work. Or if you want, if you have an Android phone or an iPhone or tablet or something, like that, you can go ahead and just get Pocket Craft and do it that way. That's an idea as well. So another question I got from somebody, want to know, is it true that if I have Windows 8, I'll be upgraded to Windows 10. That is true. And according to everybody, it's going to be free. Now, a lot of you guys remember when, specifically when Windows 8 came out, they were upgrading people from XP and they were upgrading people from 7. To Windows 8 for Vista. They were upgrading all those people to Windows 8 for like $30. This one, I believe, is going to be from 8 to 10 is going to be free. The same thing when you had Windows 8, you went to 8.1 for free. So I believe what they're telling us is going to be free. From what I heard from people on Twit and some other podcast networks that I listen to, it's going to be free. But again, we'll know more obviously as Microsoft gets closer and closer to that release date. But I believe, from what I've told, it is going to be free. So another question somebody had for me, they asked, should I go AMD or should I go Intel? That's the question for the ages. There's always been that AMD Intel war. I like Intel. Intel's in my Mac that I'm recording the show on. Intel is, Intel, obviously they run a lot hotter, so you're going to need more fans. AMD, obviously a little cheaper. And AMD does have an equivalent to the Intel. It really depends on what you want to do. Some people swear by Intel servers, some people swear by AMD servers. So I think it basically depends on you, the person. As long as you say, okay, well, I want an Intel, i5, and you want to go a little cheaper, you can go with the AMD equivalent to it. Now, is it faster? They're about the same speed. But some people, insist on Intel over AMD. Now, I can tell you, if you've always run Intel machines and you're going to try to go from, an AMD motherboard to from an Intel motherboard to an AMD motherboard or vice versa, you're going to need new RAM. You might need a new video card because there has been, issues where people say, oh, well, I thought I can just switch boards and that'd be it. Well, you have to check because some hardware sometimes isn't. I know most things are plug and play nowadays, but sometimes certain hardware isn't compatible like it used to be. So you have to deal with that. So check to see, if you're just buying a computer off the shelf, I don't think it's going to make much difference. But if you're actually building a machine, you might want to go ahead and check your hardware specs. So this is a really interesting question I got from somebody. Somebody said, I know you listen to audiobooks. I know you read a lot. What do you prefer, Audible or audiobooks.com? Well, Audible was a sponsor of ours for a while. Here's the thing. Audible has a larger selection. Obviously, they're powered by Amazon, so obviously that gives them a big edge right there. Audiobooks.com is the exact same price. Now, I found anything I've ever looked for, I pretty much found on audiobooks.com. Audiobooks.com lets you use PayPal, or Audible you have to use with a credit card. So, they don't allow PayPal yet. Amazon doesn't do PayPal. But, I have found some books that are on Audible that aren't on Audible. Audible definitely has the bigger library. And as far as apps, I've used audiobooks.com apps, I've used Audible books. Both of them have good apps. I don't know. Audible does does give you some incentives for the more you listen. Audiobooks.com doesn't. The one thing nice about audiobooks.com is you can stream the books. You don't have to download them to your device if you have a space issue. But I think both of them are pretty the same. One may have a few perk over the other depending on your personal preference. But for the most part, I think they're both pretty much about the same. And price-wise, they're both exactly the same. I haven't seen, I think with any audiobook service, I think all of the any of the popular books are always on any of the popular services. That's just the way it is. But if you're looking for a specific book that maybe not as popular, you may run it, by not somebody that's not so famous, you may want to check both to see which one you're looking for. So, but I think that pretty much concludes our questions. Like I said, you can always check out all of our old shows on the technologygeek.org. You can always listen to our live stream. We always stream the show audio. We always stream the live audio on our YouTube channel. And, I want to thank everybody for listening, and we will see you next week. Thank you very much.